everybody, Two Sawacres here. I know a lot of people are getting into burning firewood, and I want to show you the top-down fire starting method. For me anyhow, it's by far the easiest, the fastest. It takes a couple extra seconds to set it up, but you can have a full roaring fire within 5 to 10 minutes. And I'll time lapse it a little bit so you can see it. Anyway, I take two medium-sized pieces. These are probably 4 or 5 inch diameter pieces. I put them on the bottom. Assuming I can get them to fit right. So, something like that. Alright. And I take two shorter pieces, like that, of kindling, make spacers. We save all of our paper towel cardboard tubes and toilet paper tubes. Alright. For your newspaper, you want black and white. Old school black and white newspaper, right? So I take a little bit of this, just do a little twirl in it, stuff it through this cardboard tube. Okay? Throw that dead smack in the middle there, in between the two bigger pieces. Then I take my two small pieces. These guys are probably 1.5 to 2 inches, ballpark. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Throw them up on top. And I take half of a full sheet, all right, corner to corner, and just twirl it up. This is called a newspaper knot. 1, 2, you want it kind of loose though, all right? You don't want these, string tight, just loose, right? So that's what they should look like. All right, take a couple pieces of kindling, stuff them through. I offset the paper, or the newspaper, so that they can sit like this. Throw those right in the top. Take a few extra pieces of kindling newspaper, throw that in there too. I'll put these under those other two. And that's it. I'm going to move you in closer so you can get a good look at that. So 2 bigger pieces down here. Alright. In the very middle is the cardboard tube with a little bit of newspaper through it. My 2 smaller pieces separated by these 2 short pieces of kindling. Then kindling and newspapers on top. Alright. And I can probably get away with just doing 1 light, but just to be on the safe side, I'll do a couple lights. Alright, dampener's wide open. I usually just shut the door, not even latched. I just leave it hanging open, that way I can get a good draft going. The goal here is to get as much heat as possible real quick. That causes the draft upwards. I've got about a 20 to 22 foot chimney. All right, you want at least a 15-foot chimney. The taller your chimney, the better the draft is going to be. So your goal with a top-down fire is to get a good hot flue pipe in a chimney to cause a draft, and that draft is really what sets off the fire, and then it burns its way down surprisingly well. So you'll see that here in just a minute. Alright, so now once I'm at this point, and honestly it's only been 6, 7, 8 minutes tops, that's when I go ahead and I just latch the door, but there's still a solid, 3/4 of an inch or so in the door, and that helps really force the draft in there. You can see the fire change once I close that, because it gets more of a push from the air. And I mean, even the bottom logs, the two medium sized, the bigger logs on the bottom, they're actually started right now. And probably 10 more minutes, the whole fireplace will be probably 200 degrees, and then in a half hour, probably 350, 400. I run this stove, I like to keep it around 550, you know, somewhere in that ballpark. I think the stoves, or the manufacturer said to keep it somewhere between 350 and 550. I run it hot. That way we don't get creosote buildup. If you run it cold, you're gonna get creosote buildup, a lot of it. I had that the first year where I was trying to do all-night burns overnight, so I put a couple big logs in there, and I made the mistake of using cherry overnight, and cherry burns really dirty if it's not really hot. So I don't do that anymore, but you know, I'll put a big maple or elm or, you know, ironwood or something like that in there. I'll let it get really hot, and then I'll kind of throttle it back a little bit, and that doesn't give us as much of a problem. But as you can see, two little lights of that newspaper, geez, roaring. So I'm gonna let this go ahead and time lapse, and I'll come back and check in with y'all, and probably just let the clip run out at 30 minutes, whatever it is, and you'll see. Alright, so we're coming up on 20 minutes of fire going, and we're at 230-ish degrees. 250 on this one, 230 on that one. That's about right. Everything's looking good inside. I'll come back in 10 more minutes, 8 more minutes when the video clip runs out, and we'll do one final update. But you can see it works really, really well. You need good dry wood. You need good kindling. I honestly save most of this just from when I'm splitting wood. This is all just literally scraps from when I was actually splitting the wood. I just pick it up off the ground and save it. That way I don't have to, you know, spend, you know, half hour, whatever it is, every couple of weeks throughout the whole winter sitting there with a little hatchet, splitting the stuff up. I've got, I don't know, probably 300 pounds of this stuff in a big crate outside, and I didn't have to work for it at all. I just pick it up. So. Alright, so I'm going to call this a wrap. Mrs. H's canner is about to start hissing at us for the next, I don't know, 90 minutes or something. Anyway, it's been around 20 minutes. I'll verify that once I do the editing. At 300 here, a little over 300 on the top. This is about the time where I go ahead and I don't fully close the door. I don't latch it tight, usually until it's around closer to 500 degrees. Then it's got a strong enough draft that it can pull its own air through its own inlet system. It's got tubes on the top and that little post inside there. Gets air from the top to get a secondary combustion and from the bottom. But like I said, it's rolling. All I had to do was light two little corners of newspaper. Boom. It's amazing. I think I first learned this on Wrangler Star YouTube channel, so if you want to check him out, it's kind of the same methodology. I've tweaked it a little to work better in my particular stove. But please like, subscribe, share, leave any comments if you've got any questions. I'd be more than happy to go over anything that I can. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. You all have a good one. We'll catch you on the next video.